Star Trek. DS9's elite Starfleet Academy cadets were so much worse than TNG's. Star Trek fans have spent decades debating the merits of various Starfleet crews, from the idealistic optimism of the next generation to the morally complex drama of Deep Space Nine. But one comparison that often gets overlooked is the difference in how Starfleet Academy cadets were portrayed in each series. On paper, you might assume that elite cadets in DS9 would be as competent, heroic, and disciplined as their TNG counterparts. In reality, DS9's elite cadets were, in almost every way, far worse. The contrast begins with context. TNG Starfleet Academy is depicted as rigorous but idealistic. Episodes like The First Duty introduced Wesley Crusher and the Cutler Academy team. And even when rules were bent or broken, the show framed their mistakes as learning opportunities within a system of accountability. These cadets, even at their worst, were capable, intelligent, and deeply committed to Starfleet's principles. They represented the aspirational side of the Federation, a vision of the future where young people could push boundaries without losing their moral compass. DS9, however, takes a much grittier view of Starfleet Academy. When we meet Academy cadets like Nog and his peers, the narrative paints a far less flattering picture. For one, these cadets are far less polished, less disciplined, and often surprisingly self-centered. In DS9, we see cadets who are more concerned with impressing superiors than with upholding Starfleet values. The Federation's elite training ground, instead of being a crucible for moral and intellectual growth, often seems like a pressure cooker for ego, rivalry, and incompetence. Take Nog, for example, as the first Ferengi in Starfleet. His journey is groundbreaking, and he eventually becomes a competent officer. But his initial academy experience is chaotic. He struggles academically and socially, and his classmates are not exactly paragons of virtue or teamwork. They cheat, they boast, and they sabotage each other. Where TNG cadets might bend the rules to test the system, DS9 cadets bend the rules because they don't yet understand or care about the principles they're supposed to embody. This creates a distinct tone. The Federation's elite is messy, flawed, and sometimes even selfish. The difference isn't just about individual behavior, it's structural. TNG cadets operate within a clearly defined framework. Their instructors, deans, and mentors, characters like Captain Picard or Admiral Quinn, represent the ethical backbone of Starfleet. Mistakes are met with reflection and consequences, but always in the service of learning. DS9 cadets, by contrast, often navigate a system that seems chaotic or indifferent. The Academy in DS9 is less a place of moral refinement than a simulation of the real-world pressures of duty, command, and war. The cadets' flaws are not merely narrative devices. They underscore the series' larger themes of imperfection, compromise, and the moral ambiguities of a Federation at war or on the edge of conflict. This divergence has dramatic consequences when these cadets are deployed in the field. TNG cadets, even when flawed, rarely imperil their ship or colleagues in catastrophic ways. DS9 cadets, however, frequently demonstrate just how unprepared the elite can be. In episodes where they are put in high-stakes simulations or real missions, their lack of discipline, foresight, or teamwork often creates chaos. The show emphasizes that being elite doesn't automatically mean being competent, a subtle but powerful critique of hierarchical systems. Another factor is tone and generational perspective. TNG embodies the aspirational ideal. Cadets are a mirror of what the Federation hopes the next generation will be. DS9 is more skeptical, reflecting a world where ideals are tested by reality. Its cadets are humanized through flaws, but in a way that highlights their immaturity and hubris. While TNG's cadets are learning responsibility through moral dilemmas, DS9's are learning it through repeated failure, often with more dramatic and sometimes humorous consequences. And humor plays a role too. DS9's Academy cadets often serve as comic relief, with Nog's early fumbling and overzealous classmates creating a stark contrast to the polished, heroic student officers in TNG. The humor isn't just for laughs. It accentuates the series' grounded tone. By showing elite cadets who are often bumbling or self-absorbed, DS9 reminds viewers that Starfleet is not infallible and that the path to heroism is long, messy, and sometimes painful. Ultimately, the difference between TNG and DS9 cadets reflects each series' philosophy. TNG's cadets are a promise, a vision of the future where talent and virtue align. DS9's cadets are a challenge, a reality check that even Starfleet's best trained can stumble, struggle, or fail spectacularly. They are less idealized, more relatable, and dramatically more interesting, precisely because their flaws make their eventual successes feel earned. In conclusion, While TNG Starfleet Academy cadets shine as paragons of potential and morality, DS9's elite students are a messier, far less reliable bunch. Their flaws are glaring. Their